Good afternoon. Welcome to another program on ShuraTV. This is our health program, and hopefully you're having a wonderful end of the summer. I hope the heat is not getting to you and you're getting and staying cool and taking care of yourself and keeping hydrated. It's very important to do that. Also, we wanted to discuss today a little bit about senior care and elderly care. Sometimes we notice that some of our seniors are in dire situations and they're not being taken care of as they should be. And I think it is a responsibility of the community and of their loved ones and their kids primarily. And then, of course, their extended families and networks. And, of course, healthcare professionals play a role in that as well. But the healthcare professionals cannot help unless we have a health advocate with the senior so that they let them know the conditions and what situation they're in so that they can get them the help that they need. It's very important to keep that into consideration. As the elderly get elder, they need more things, and of course the senses in terms of the vision, the smell, the tactile sensation, walking, movement becomes difficult, and they'll need more assistance as they get older. And in the U.S. nowadays, of course, people are living longer. Longevity is something that is aimed for by medicine, and we do have seniors that are living longer and are having more complications as they live longer, but they are living longer. The goal is to give them a good quality of life. Now, looking at this, each senior is different, but there are some general trends that have been noticed. First and foremost, the thing to notice is behavioral changes. If you have a loved one that's a senior or that's an elder and they're on medications and they've recently have had some behavioral changes, meaning that before they were able to take their medications on their own, they would not forget. They were able to go and take care of themselves in terms of their personal hygiene. They were available to drive. Here, driving becomes an obstacle as you get older. It becomes something which needs to be discussed with the family. It might become unsafe, and then some people get vision problems to add to that. And with vision, comes other issues, falls, and you have to have prevention. You have to have education on falls and how to prevent them, and then. The other thing is to make sure that your senior or your elder is living in a facility or in a home that has now been equipped for a senior, whereas they have handles and there aren't too many steps, there aren't a lot of hazards, environmental hazards in that facility. This is very important. These are the things that we need to kind of focus on. I wanted to talk a little bit about this and senior health and see how we can improve the life and the quality of our seniors. And these things need to be taken into consideration. It's very important. Number one, the behavior problems. Number two, you might notice a little bit of increased anxiety and also maybe a little bit of introversion, meaning that the seniors kind of withdraw. They withdraw from activities. They'll withdraw from going to gatherings. They'll withdraw from going shopping. They start to prefer to just stay home or stay in their room if they're in a mixed setting. These things you need to look out for and keep in mind. And if these things are things that are the things that you notice, also memory loss is something that you'll notice. These are some aspects of the cognitive decline. And then, the focus needs to be on the home safety and also the caregiver. And the caregiver has to be someone who is equipped and understands how to take care of the senior. This is very important. So, number one, the behavioral changes. If you notice behavioral changes, it's very, very important that you sit down and talk to whether it's your mom, your grandma, your aunt, whoever it is, your elderly friend. You sit down and talk to them and say, hey, so-and-so, what's going on? I've noticed that you're doing this lately, or you're not participating in this lately, or that, you're saying things that don't make sense. I want to know what's going on. Are you taking your medications regularly? And most of them will say, yes, I'm taking my medication. Everything is fine. Don't bother me. But you need to be a little bit more intrusive, respectfully, and get to the bottom of it to see whether the behavioral change is something organic that's coming from a lack of cognitive skills, or is it coming because they might be not taking their medication in the right time, in the right place, or in the right order, or they're mixing medications and they're causing side effects. These things are very important to consider when you see these behavioral changes. If you see a sudden memory loss or sudden speech issues or impediments, it's important to get to the bottom of it. And to do that, first and foremost, you discuss it with the individual in a very nice, non-confrontational way. And then secondly, you discuss it with the caretaker's doctor, with the senior's doctor. You accompany them on a visit to the doctor, and you discuss it and say, hey doc, what can we do to alleviate or mitigate these issues that are coming up now? Simple things like vision issues, you can have the vision checked, you can have the eyeglasses changed, you can have different medications that are being monitored, managed. A lot of seniors nowadays, if you look in the US, they have a plethora of medications that they're on. They're usually on high blood pressure medication, they're on cholesterol medication, they're on arthritis medication for some type of pain, they're on nerve pain medication for some type of neuropathy, and then of course some have diabetes, they're on that medication as well. And these things are the common medications that people are on. And then some of them might be on some type of sleep meds to help them sleep, to help them calm down. And also they might have anti-anxiety medications to calm them down as well. So these are the categories of medications that most seniors are on currently. But you have to manage these medications with their doctor and discuss it and see if they need to be on all those. Because these medications interact and they cause different types of reactions in the body. So that's something important to consider on the behavioral aspect. If you notice that they're getting depressed or they have a lot of anxiety and they're isolating or they have a lot of worries, they're worrying about multiple things abnormally than normal people do, then that's something to also sit down and talk to them about. Discuss it with them, say, how are you feeling? Let's go for a walk in the park, take them somewhere. Show them that you have time for them. That's what they need. They don't need isolation. The worst thing that exacerbates these conditions is isolation. When seniors are isolated and without care, these things get worse. And all the studies show that. So if you do have a senior in your household, it's important to make sure that they feel like they're part of a family unit or a system. That's very important to do if you can do that. If you can provide for that, that's awesome. If you can provide a caretaker for them, that's wonderful, because that caretaker, it'll be their job to make sure that everything is a-okay for them. Whether it's their meals on time, they can make them meals, make them snacks, take care of them. Nutritionally, a lot of seniors that we see are nutritionally deficient because they don't get enough food, they don't get enough energy, nutrients, amino acids, vitamins. They're not eating enough. They're not eating enough to keep their body sustained. They're not getting that 2,000 calorie diet daily. They're getting much less because they don't have anyone to prepare proper food for them. And that's where it begins, right? Number one building block for them to prevent them from deterioration is a proper food and nutritional supplements. A lot of seniors will take supplemental shakes and supplemental foods and nutrients, supplements like vitamins, and they have Ensure and they have Glucerna if they have diabetes. These are things that a caretaker can make sure that the senior can take on a schedule so that they're not deficient. It's very important to keep that in mind, because these things will affect all aspects of life. And unfortunately, it all takes is one fall or one simple mishap to cause a catastrophe in their life, So it's very important to kind of cater to the senior in your house and discuss these things with them. Of course, you're going to get some pushback initially. All human beings are kind of, lack of a better word, hard-headed. We're stubborn as a species. But once someone talks to you from a place of love and understanding and wants you to do better, then you can talk to that senior and express that to them and let them know that you will be trying to help them live a fulfilled life filled with quality and longevity. That's the goal. So those are the things that you can do to try to discuss with them first, and then accompany them to their primary care doctor's office. And then if you see that there's things that are happening and there's a lack of care, the doctor can actually assign what's known as home health care. They're usually on Medicare, a lot of the seniors. You can request the doctor, say, I want 3 times a week home health care for my mom or for my dad. So a nurse actually comes, organizes the medications, organizes their hygiene, discusses some things with them. If they need physical therapy, they get the physical therapy on site at their location that they live. And this happens 3 times a week, and the doctor just has to write the order. You can request that from the doctor to begin with. And that's something which is very, very normal, and Medicare pays for it. They're already paying for these seniors a lot of money, so it's included. So you should use that. It's called home health care, and you can utilize that. A nurse comes in. They even give some seniors baths 3 times a week. They'll wash them up. They'll take care of their basic necessities and needs. They'll manage the medication, make sure that they're not mixing up medication, they're taking it at the right time, and at least you'll get that 3 times a week, if not, if you don't have a caretaker full time. But the best thing to do is, if you can afford it, you hire a caretaker and you interview one and you tell them to take care of the senior for us, because if you're someone that's busy with your work or you're distant and this is not happening, you need someone to take care of that elderly parent or aunt or grandma or whoever it is. So that's important to keep in mind. The other aspect is the home safety, right? So there are companies that come out to your house and make it baby safe and now also senior safe. So they look at things that are potential dangers to the senior, and what they'll do is they'll make the adjustments in the house. They'll put things and move things around so that there's no harm for the senior. And with putting handles in and putting all types of things that make life much easier for the senior. Little alarms for the stove and things so you don't burn down the kitchen. There's all types of things that they have. So that's important to keep in mind. Again, every decade of life, the increased probability of dementia and memory loss. That's happening, right? So you got to keep your kind of eye on that as well. As your senior gets older, you know that there's going to be dementia coming. It comes if you're not, especially if they have some sort of diabetes. This diabetes, the diabetes type 3, they call it the Alzheimer's and the dementia. It's the diabetes of the brain is dementia. It causes cognitive loss, decreased acuity, decreased alertness, increased irritability, increased argumentation, increased stubbornness, decreased ability to kind of be alert, decreased alertness. Thought process is not going to be that sharp. There might be things that you have to tell them 2 or 3 times. It's sort of like regression back into a infantile state. A lot of people do. So you have to be patient with them, and you have to repeat things and tell them things multiple times, as they probably did with you when you were a child, right? So it's sort of a full circle thing. So we have to be cognizant of that, and then let the doctor know and take things that are sort of anti-inflammatory. There are foods that are anti-inflammatory that help with cognition. They're known as nootropic foods. Nootropic foods. You can Google that, look that up. That's very common, and you'll see the list of foods that they should be eating. Usually it's with good fats and good omegas. These are very good for brain food. Okay. So those are the cognitive issues that come up. You might see confusion. Some people, the degree of severity is going to be different in each individual depending on their background. Okay. So those are the things that happen. All seniors in general like to stay in their own house, right? They don't like to move. This is a big challenge. This is a big challenge because a lot of them will be familiar with their own facility, their own house, and moving is going to be the biggest obstacle and the biggest thing. So you have to discuss this in a very tactful way with them. You have to kind of explain the options and show them that they will be getting better care if they move in with a certain offspring, or if they move into a facility, or if they move into somewhere where there's shared care and someone will be taking care of them. This has to be explained to them. Initially you can start with home health visits and home visits by the elderly care person. This is a slow way to gradually get into getting them to actually move out of the facility that they're in. But typically, if it's a home setting, they do better, especially if it's with a loved one. They do better and they thrive much more better than they would in a facility that isn't involved with their family. Coordination of care is very important. So coordination of care. They have a primary care doctor. Usually that's the person that you need to talk to make sure that they get all the services that they're eligible to get in terms of the senior home health care, and they're getting the correct medications. And a lot of the Medicare insurances, they have lists that they can order from CVS, Walmart pharmacies, Save On, or all these pharmacies. Medicare actually covers a certain number of supplies that they can get monthly, and you should tap into that and get them all the just the basics that they would need as a senior. It's all covered under their Medicare coverage. They have it under their prescription coverage, and you just order it from Walmart and it's covered, and they send it directly to them in the place of residence. The other aspect that's important is to create a social meeting for them. Meaning, if they're not part of a senior group, or if they're not part of some type of senior center, it's important for them to go and become part of some type of organization that's for seniors, that they can do things on a weekly basis, on a daily basis. That kind of gives them purpose and gives them a routine. It's very good for them to be functioning around a routine and look forward to the next event. There's a lot of senior daycare centers. You can find one that has their language. There's all types. There's here in Southern California, there's the Olive Community, which is for seniors, and you can get information on that from us if you need. They have programs for different seniors in different localities here in Orange County. Your local settings might have senior programs at the local senior center. Sometimes they have it with language immersion. They'll have it in Farsi or Urdu or Hindi or Arabic, so the seniors can feel comfortable going there and taking and just having a social a social gathering, which is very important. Look into their insurance options. Look into all their coverages that they have. If you're the loved one of a senior, that's very important, so you know what coverage you have and what you're eligible for. Because most people are not maximizing all the benefits that they have for their seniors. Also, the caregiver. It's very important when you're selecting a caregiver to interview them and make sure that the caregiver is taken care of, so that they can take care of the senior in a proper way. It's very important to interview someone that's empathetic and compassionate and has had experience in senior caregiving. That's very important. A lot of people, from lack of a job, they'll get into elderly care, but they have no idea what to do. They're just doing it and they're kind of winging it. You want to get someone that's that's done it before and that can take care of someone and it can actually improve the quality of life. That's very important. And then for for you as the loved one of the senior, you need to make sure that you have direct communication with them, whether it's through FaceTime or any type of video chat. That's much better than just calling them. If you can enable them so that they have their phone and they have FaceTime capabilities, that would, that would be great, because that senior, when they see you, they feel like you're really there. So, and you care about them, and you're checking in on them. That's very important. And then, educating ourselves about the latest things that are there available for seniors in tech, and also in the latest innovations for senior care and elderly care. It's very important. And we discussed already creating a safe environment for the seniors. It's important to have their environment which is safe for them, it's not a danger for them, and make sure that they don't have opportunity to harm themselves in any way. So we want to mitigate all the risks around them. That's very important. I think those are the things that we need to pay attention to. There are a lot of seniors out there. There's all the baby boomers are now seniors, and it's an industry which is rampant with all types of advantages and disadvantages. And what we want to do for our loved ones is make sure that we provide enough information and care so that their quality of life is better as their longevity has increased here and they're living longer. So those are the things that we wanted to kind of focus on for a little bit. Please take care of your seniors, talk to them daily at least, and then check on them, and then find out if they're getting good optimal care in terms of their health care, in terms of their living conditions, in terms of their personal issues, if they have any cognitive decline, any speech impediments, any vision impediments, any needs that they have, if they need to be taken shopping, etc. Please provide that opportunity for them, and you'll see that they'll have a better quality of life, and in turn your quality of life will be good as well. If you have any concerns, questions, or resources that you might need, please email us or comment on our video, and we'll get you that information that you need so that we can help our seniors here in Southern California and beyond. Looking forward to seeing you again on our next show. Thank you for attending and listening, and we'll see you next time. Take care.